Hey guys, it's Monica Rockmo. I am the salon owner of Rockmo Hair and Beauty Lounge right here in the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. And I want you guys to watch as I do this traditional sew-in on this client who has a head full of beautiful hair. Her hair is probably about 16 inches, but she does love wearing traditional sew-ins because it does really help protect the hair and put it away for some time to be, to continue to be healthy. We did shampoo it, we did condition it, and I did trim her ends because she was getting ready to have her hair put away for a while. And so we did the works just to ensure that her hair is perfectly healthy as it's going into this traditional sew-in. So she did decide that she wanted to do a middle part. And so the braid pattern that I chose is the zigzag braid pattern, where you braid it down and you feed the previous braid into the next braid. And so you guys can see that I did pick up that previous braid, and I know that this video is sped up, but whenever you are blending that previous braid into the next braid, you want to make sure that that braid is as tight as possible, like to the tight, not in the sense of pulling it, but tight in the sense of, you see how I'm braiding right now, making sure that that is super flat, because your clients do not want sew-ins that look bulky. They want flat, seamless sew-ins. And then especially, this step here is especially important, especially if you have a client that has a lot of thick hair. As you can see, I'm pulling hair away from the braid. That's her leave out. She chose to have hair left out all the way around the perimeter. So I'm making sure that that hair is not caught in that braid, because when you lift that braid back up, it is going to pull and it's going to hurt. And we don't want your clients to feel uncomfortable for the first few weeks, and then on top of that, that can cause breakage over a course of time with that hair just pulling. So I do my best to make sure that that hair is not snagged. The braid down is actually one of the most important parts of your sew-in service. And so you really want to take your time to do the braid down in a nice, neat way. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but it does need to be neat, because that's going to help the client as she's taking it down. And whenever you're servicing a client, you always want to be a forward thinker. You want to think about what is going to be her process if she has to take this hair down herself, or whether she's going to ask her man to take it down, her sister, her grandma, her cousin, whoever she may ask to help take her sew-in down, and even if she asks for you to take it down. Think ahead. Think of making it easy on yourself and make it easy on them by keeping your patterns consistent and keeping your braiding neat, so that you won't have to find the threads. You won't have to find where you started the braid. You won't have to find that first braid and take that hair down. So here I have finished the braid pattern. I've got it as flat as I thought was good. And now I'm just flat ironing her leave out because she is going to wear a leave out, and she's going to wear that hair straight with body curls. And so if your client does not wear her hair straightened a lot, then you will need to use some type of light oil spray. The oil sheen that I use for this is by Influence, and it is very light. I love it because it does not weigh the hair down. You guys can still see that she has body after I have sprayed the oil sheen on it, and that's why we see a lot of smoke, and that's because of the oil sheen. Now here, let's get into this perfectly textured hair. I love perfectly textured. It is the raw Indian hair because it matches our curl pattern to the T. Now you can go other routes, but I do prefer my clients use perfectly textured hair whenever I'm doing their installs because that's the only way that I can assure quality. And then on top of that, the hair is reusable. This is our second or third install on this hair. So, and it still looks so good. Wait to the end. And you want hair that's going to look new every time you use it. If you take care of your bundles will take care of you. And here I'm just flattening out the weft so that it'll be flat when I get ready to sew it up to her hair. The needle that I'm using for her hair is the large C-hook needle. This is not always my favorite needle to use because I used to poke myself. But whenever you are using like double wefted, if you're double wefting the sew in, that large C-hook needle is very good because it is very sharp on the tip and that needle goes easily through the weft, very easy. You don't have like the smaller C-shaped needles. Sometimes they're too dull to go through two wefts at a time. But this needle is big, and I gotta admit that I had to get used to using it. But it does penetrate the double weft so easy. And if you are a person who do extensions and weaves all the time, your timing is important. And so you don't want to be slowed down because your needle is dull. So I do recommend that large C-hook needle because it is super sharp on the tip and it does go through the double weft very easily. I am taking my time and I'm sewing the first row underneath those braids, and that is going to hide that track. If you have to flip it up or she wants to wear it in a ponytail, that's going to hide that track. So you guys want to make sure that you are sewing that first row look like right under that those braids, not on top, because if you put it on top it's going to be a bulk. And so when I get to the front, I split the tracks, and you guys can see that there. Me and her, we're talking a little bit, that's why it's showing, but I'm showing you how I split the tracks so that it won't be like those knots at the front. To where like when you touch it and when she touches, she can feel her track. You don't want that. So when you get to the front, it's okay to split that track and just sew one weft to that front braid and then bring it back. And then as you go, bring those wefts back together. And I do this on both sides. And I'm showing you guys how you can bring those wefts back together once you have folded out that weft. But you want your sewings to be flat around the front. Not the knotty, the bulky, chunky, y'all know what I'm talking about. So now we're just going to speed this process up just a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys just exactly how I sewed it in, the pattern that I used. And although her braids are like that, it's very flat, and she personally does not like a net. I normally use a net when I do sew-ins, but she just doesn't like a net because she does like to get to her scalp if it itches. She doesn't want to have to go through a net. So I prefer a net, but she doesn't like a net, and I'm going to listen to the client. If you say you don't want a net, I am not going to put a net on there. But if you are not using a net, then this pattern right here is the best pattern to use if you're not using a net, because those braids are laying side by side, so it gives you space to sew onto. And I want you guys to take your time when you get in the top of the head, because most of the time that part is very tender, it's very fragile. Don't do a lot of pulling on the wefts. Don't do a lot of tugging on the hair. Just be gentle. Just be gentle. I've seen clients get bald spots in the top right there where I'm sewing if you take those strings through too many times. Maybe once or twice and then keep going. Make sure that when you fold it back, it feels extra flat. If you guys can see, I touch it every now and then just to see how it feels to my hand. And if it feels flat, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on. But if you can look and see that it's blending, that is very flat and that is blending, but we don't want to put too much tension on the crown of the head. That will cause bald spots, that will cause thinning, and that will cause her edges to come out. So whenever you're sewing in the top, just be gentle. This is the very last row of the sew in. And if you guys can see, I'm just slowing down just a little bit to make sure that it is painless to the client. I am still taking the needle through the wefts, and I'm detangling the hair, just combing my fingers through it to make sure it's smooth. And right here, I cannot lie, I love my T3 curling iron. That is the best invention because the barrel of it is very long, so it allows you to curl large sections of hair at a time. And then it gets so hot. I think this curling iron may go up to 400 and something degrees, maybe higher than that. I love it. And the reason for it being so hot is that it'll seep through the top and the bottom of the weft all the way through, so that the hair is getting straight as it's wrapped on the barrel. So I see a lot of stylists, sometimes they'll flat iron their bundles and then curl them. And with the T3 iron, I don't have to do that. I did flat iron it right at the root just so it'll be flat. But using that T3 curling iron, those curls go all the way through. And then something I noticed as well too is if I go ahead and flat iron it first, sometimes the curls don't last. They'll fall very quickly for the client. So I try not to flat iron it first, not unless the hair is like kinky straight or something like that. But this hair is just the natural wavy hair with perfectly textured. And I am going to put the link at the bottom for you guys to shop. And you look at how beautiful this hair turned out. Oh my God. This does not even look like this is her, that this hair has been reused. It does not look that way. It looks brand new. It looks so healthy, so shiny, so full. Our hair comes very full. So if you guys want to shop perfectly textured hair, raw hair, look at the link in the description. Okay, I'm going to leave the link for you guys because this hair is the GOAT, honey. The GOAT.